Yes, that's right. The 2025 Dodgers are so good that they somehow went 2-0 on opening day to start the season. My name's Ryan Bershinger. He is Beau Benson. We are reacting to opening day domestically. The Dodgers now 3-0 to start the year. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. The Dodgers Zone.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
It's gonna be sick.
Look at that.
It's opening day, dude. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. I told you earlier, one of my favorite things about opening day is like when a reliever gives up 2 runs and gets pulled. His ERA is listed as infinite.
Yeah.
that rocks. The other thing about opening day that I like is like discovering players that I didn't even know existed. Which like I would like to play a game with you real quick if we could.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell me if this is a real player?
Yes.
Onsen Sweeney.
Could you spell the first name?
Onson.
Onsen.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it is.
No, that's not a real player.
Oh, okay.
No, Ryan Bliss is though. That's
Okay.
a real player. We've got
hold on. Who is Onsen Sweeney?
Onsen Sweeney is one of the famous Sleeve McDykel names. Todd Gonzalez, that Jerome Grid, that Japanese baseball game from the 90s that made up all these player names. Bobson Dugnut.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Good. Okay.
But you
Well,
would think they could. I might name my kid Bobson. That might happen.
Well, let's first we're recording this immediately after opening day. At least the
Dodgers
second
opening day.
Yeah,
The real opening day. Everyone
Major
else
League
just
Baseball
played for our
opening day.
amusement today, but the Dodgers handled business once again.
Yeah. So the Dodgers are now 3-0 before like half the league is now 1-0. And I made this point last time with Monty. It is genuinely possible that the Dodgers will have the best record in baseball for every single day of the calendar year, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So,
What happens first? The Angels get their first win, or the Dodgers win 5 games?
geez. But I would say that the Angels would because
It's got to be the Angels.
White
They're playing the
Sox.
White Sox, but they lost like 8-0 today.
like that's what's crazy. Yeah, that's geez. And then Mike Trout like gets hit on the hand right away. And it's
first
like,
at bat.
I feel bad. I really do. Feel bad
When do we talk about like the curse of Ohtani, like the curse of of Ruth? Like,
well, yeah.
at some point, man.
All the
I don't know.
parallels. Yeah.
Oh.
That's fair. So let's talk about this first game here. Of course, it's still just a regular season game, and we'll revisit the couple games in Japan, just because
I don't think people are. Yeah, like I don't think people are prepared for the level of coasting that the Dodgers are going to do this year. At least that I feel like, because when we talk about those Japanese games or the games in Japan, awesome series. Really glad they did it. And as I told you guys last night, Dodgers starting on opening day at 4 p.m. is worse than playing games abroad. To me, that's starting at 4 was sacrilege.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think they took those games in Tokyo seriously whatsoever. I really don't. That was extended spring. That was extended spring training for them.
Yeah. And it was still 2-0. I mean, they obviously Mookie was out, no Freddie either, and still took care of business easily. Since we're on it, let's just talk about Roki Saski's debut really quickly because that's obviously super exciting. I mean, the first thing you see is the velocity is there, the swing and miss stuff is there. The ability to make the ball disappear at times is there. He is also, a young guy making his first start in the majors. He walked 5, and it is what it is. Like, that's going to happen. He's still
happening pretty often, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, not concerned. Obviously, he has such electric stuff. As he grows, he's just going to find different ways to hone it in, and the control is going to just get better. But he's already got the stuff.
Yeah,
which is super important.
I'm surprised he's starting the year in the major league rotation, to be honest with you. I thought he might spend some time in the minors.
Yeah. So, which is honestly good on the Dodgers. Like, I mean, obviously they don't need to worry about money, and Major League Baseball has now done things to kind of address service time manipulation. But, the Dodgers aren't even minding the fact that they, could in essence get an extra year of him down the road. You start him off right away, you get him for the whole season. And then they can just, pay him $500 million in a few years. So, but yeah, that was great to see Roki. Obviously, of course, getting the chance to pitch in front of a home crowd must have been super special for him.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to perform. Yeah, he only went 3 innings, but whatever. Like, again, that was just a product of the walks that just kind of elevated his pitch count. The electric,
which we saw today too.
Yeah. We'll transition to today. For those of you who are just now getting familiar with Blake Snell, I mean, us as Dodger fans, you should be pretty familiar with Blake Snell. Of course, going back to the 2020 World Series and then seeing him with both the Padres and the Giants. But in case you don't know, the Blake Snell experience is he's going to pitch 5 innings, give up 1 or 2 runs, and throw 180 pitches, and it's going to feel like he had given up 6 runs, but he leaves the game and you're like, oh, that was a good start. Yeah. He's obviously a fantastic pitcher. His pitch count just like it elevates really quickly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how he's always managed.
He loves to nibble.
Yeah.
He just nibbles around the strike zone.
Mm.
When he gets the calls, it's great. But if he's not getting the calls, then it's gonna shoot that pitch count up.
I wanted to say, like, I was really excited about Snell joining the team because I'd want to make sure that when I go to games this season, it's a Blake Snell start, so that way I get like an extra 20 minutes at the stadium because games go so fast now.
Well, dude, there is nobody in the world that is happier than Blake Snell right now. That is the happiest man alive.
Yeah.
He is so happy to be on the Dodgers. Yeah. It's so funny.
He's been thrilled.
Like the day he signed, like he's just been posting how like Dodger stuff every single day on social media. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I like disliked Blake Snell. I get that he, played for the Giants and Padres, but it was such short times that it was fairly inconsequential in terms of like him being there. I don't like view him as like a rival in any sort of way.
Honestly, he could stink, and I would just be happy that the Dodgers don't ever have to face him.
Yeah.
He was always just like that. 5 innings, 1 run. The most frustrating viewing experience of your life. And now we get that, but positively.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, I mean, he has very much endeared himself to the fan base already, I think, by like being so outwardly excited that he got to join the Dodgers. I think that's really cool. So, decent Dodger debut for Blake Snell. It was a Blake Snell game.
It's about what you expected.
It's really,
for better or worse. For better or worse, that's what you get.
Yeah. But looking at the offense, you also you got a standard Dodger offense game where Ohtani homers. Teoscar came through with a clutch homer. That was really the difference in the game was his 3-run shot. Tommy Edman hit the first homer of the game. It's just
Tommy
so
Tanks,
exciting. Man. Yeah, and to think too, like both Edman and Teo hit that was off of Tarek Skubal, who just won the Cy Young, like one of the best pitchers in baseball. Yeah. And the Dodgers were able to beat him today. And the Tigers really gave their best shot, like genuinely. And I'm not trying to be like, oh,
no, well, that's what's going to happen all year.
Yes.
Like And there's going to be games where it works and the other team like comes through, but then there are going to be games where the Dodgers just do what they do and grind them into a pulp. Like what happened today. Like it's what it is, man.
Like AJ Hinch kind of managed that game as if it was a playoff game. Like he's pulling batters halfway through the game.
Well, you've got like Gleyber Torres like pumping his fists and everything. Like, yeah, dude. Like,
yeah.
You would not think that it was opening day. You would think that this was the World Series Game 1.
Yeah,
and you're going to see that the entire year.
Exactly. That's how good the Dodgers are. The Tigers, of course, just made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, they got there because they got super hot at the end of the season, but that is still a team that I feel like could do the same sort of thing this year. Their starting rotation's gotten better, and all of these young guys are just going to take a step forward. So the Tigers are not a bad team by any means. And they gave the Dodgers their best today, and the Dodgers still took care of them. And that's going to be what you're going to see from the Dodgers. It's going to be a ton of fun. Like, people should, at some point, we've talked about this in the past, where like winning so much can get boring in the middle of the season. But I just to get out in front of that, let it be boring. But it's at the same time, though, it's going to be a ton of fun. This team is so much fun to watch. We're just getting a really quick taste of it.
What did the win total set at in Vegas before the season started? Was it like 105 or something like that?
It was something. I didn't see the exact total.
I know everybody's like, oh, they're going to break the record. And I think they could. But I also think they're going to hit like 85 wins by July 30th. And they're just going to be like, all right, whatever. We're gonna win. We're gonna win 10 games by default anyway. Like, it is what it is.
When people have asked like, what do the Dodgers need to do to repeat? It's just to not get hurt. Like,
no,
that's really all.
I have the formula. If you want it, like it's just you make the playoffs, then you win the NLDS. You win the NLCS, and then you win the World Series. That's what you have to do to repeat. Not much more to it than that.
It's like people are. I'm certain. I haven't seen many like national, picks for the season or anything like that. But I would guess that, like, people in the past tend to try to not just pick the team that won the championship last year with every sport. That's what media likes to do, because they want to try to be different. They want to try to find reasons to give it to somebody else.
As our dear friend says, like, if you get it right, nobody cares. If you pick the favorite and they win, nobody cares. But if you pick the favorite and they lose, nobody cares. But if you pick the Padres and they win finally, then you look like a genius. I think I saw Feinstein pick like I think you picked like the Phillies over the Orioles or something like that.
Yeah, and that's you have to not pick the Dodgers. You have to actively ignore everything you ever known about baseball. I don't know how else to put it.
I know
the only way that you could say the Dodgers are not going to win the World Series this year is by being like, well, sometimes guys get hurt. Which is such a boring thing to say. But that's it.
And that goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like, do we know why Michael King left his start after like 2 2/3 innings today? Like,
I didn't see.
Exactly, I don't know. Like, Garrett Cole's already injured for the Yankees. Like, I hate that. And like, it's weird. Like, it's so difficult to say it without sounding like an arrogant prick. But like, how many teams win the World Series and then go on and like very far and away win the offseason,
right? Like,
in such a manner that it's just like people are complaining and demanding that the sport change its rules. Like, that just doesn't happen. Teams that win championships get picked apart.
Yeah.
Like, look at what just happened to the Eagles in the offseason. Like, half of the defense that held the Chiefs to really 6 points got strip mined. Like, other teams go in and sign those guys, but the Dodgers didn't really lose anybody.
Right.
Like, and the guys they did lose, they replaced with somebody better. Like, Jack Flaherty is an LA legend as far as I'm concerned, but like, I'm sorry, I would rather have Blake Snell and Roki Saski a million times over than Jack Flaherty. So, and the bullpen that was already one of the greatest bullpens ever assembled last year, they got better too. They signed the 2 best available closers. Like, Oh my god.
Yeah, I want to talk about the bullpen in a little bit, but I want to wrap up this discussion about looking at the Dodgers. Just if we want to like get specific and really kind of dissect like what this season will look like in Major League Baseball in general. Looking, and I tweeted out my thoughts about this yesterday. Got a ton of traction. Emmett from Olympia liked it, and that was it. So
Did it go viral? we gotta make sure we get that posted.
What's that mean? Like, if no one got me, I know Emmett from Olympia got me. That's every one of my tweets. Anyway.
I don't even retweet you. I gotta keep you humble.
No, thank you. But looking at baseball in general this season, I really feel like in the National League, there's only like one playoff spot up for grabs, because the Dodgers will win the West. The Cubs will win the Central. They've gotten better. They have a good team, and quite frankly, the rest. And my point is, much of the NL is not good, but the NL Central especially. And then in the NL East, both the Braves and Phillies will make the playoffs, and one of them will win the division, the other will get the wild card. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be very good. I think they should get a wild card spot pretty easily, and then that leaves one spot, and that could be the Padres, that could be the Mets,
could be the Giants.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're gonna put the Mets and the Padres in there, then I think the Giants are just as good as either of those two teams.
I think the Giants are okay.
I'm also just very low on the Mets and the Padres this year. The Padres have to have the worst vibes of all time.
Yeah, I'm low on both of them, but I want to find a way to not put one of them in the playoffs, and it's hard because the rest of the NL is bad.
I don't know if you know this, but you're starting for the Mets.
Yeah, quite frankly, yeah. They took Clay Holmes and
you
made him
get on
their
a plane
opening
to
day
Houston.
starter. That's the thing. I don't know why people are that excited about the Mets in general. Yeah, I get that. Yes, you add Juan Soto, of course that makes an impact in the lineup, but that lineup like overperformed last year as it was. Like they had what's his name? Jose Iglesias hitting literally 450. Like he's gone now and he's never coming back. I don't know. Like you had to catch lightning in a bottle with a guy who had never hit ever in his life in order to like add anything to that lineup. Yeah, I like Mark Vientos. They brought back Pete Alonso. Of course, the true MVP Francisco Lindor is still there. Yeah. But like, yes, you add Juan Soto. The second half of that lineup still isn't great, and their rotation is bad.
Yeah, it's flat bad. It's bad.
Like Clay Holmes
atrocious.
Lost the closer job for the Yankees last season. He then became the Mets opening day starter. Like
Did they even bring back Manaea, or did somebody else sign him?
No,
they
Manaea
had to bring him back.
Or
is he hurt?
Where did Manaea go? Damn it. I don't think he's there anymore.
No, he's signed with the Mets. He's just hurt.
Okay.
Which is a great sign.
So he is there.
Anytime someone can completely reinvent their pitching style and turn into a great pitcher for 1 year and then get hurt immediately afterwards, it's a great sign.
Yeah.
No way.
So no, and then on the flip side, as you talk about the Padres, like they've already you got no Joe Musgrove. No Joe Musgrove.
Say that 3 times fast.
No Joe Musgrove. No Joe Musgrove. And Yu Darvish was like, didn't he like have something flare up?
He's got elbow issues already. I think
whatever happened with Michael King today.
I have no idea. Michael King I cannot imagine that Michael King left a game after 2 innings willingly. I have no idea though.
And if they are sub 500 come June, Dylan Cease is gone. Like they'll move him. So no, I think that when you look at then the rest of the National League, somebody else has to be in the playoffs. So I don't. We can rule out teams. That's the thing. If you look at the rest of the NL East, the Nationals and the Marlins probably not going to be good enough. They're still they both have good young talent, but they're still far away. In the Central, the Brewers have taken a step back, so I wouldn't be too high on them. I mean, the Pirates, maybe they have a good rotation, but their offense is still lacking. I think that the Reds could surprise people out of anybody in the National League. I think the Reds are the most built to be able to do that. A lot of good young talent that this is the time where they could be like the Tigers last year. Where
Gavin Lux.
They could put it
Cleanup
together.
hitter, baby.
They got Gavin Lux. The Cardinals are resetting. So, and then of course the Rockies are not
Cardinals. I forgot about them as a thing.
Exist. And the Rockies are non-competitive. So,
I have such a huge bone to pick with you. I really do. We bought tickets to go to that Rockies game, and now I get Rockies marketing emails.
Yes,
Fuck
I get
off,
them dude. When we went to Arizona to go to spring training, we were supposed to go on that Friday night it was Rangers at Rockies at Talking Stick, Salt River Fields. That game got rained out, so we had like $20 outfield grass tickets.
Yeah.
We've eventually gotten that money back. However, now every day I get emails from Rockies.com telling me about the tickets I could purchase.
So sad. Which we will be back to Arizona, I think. Shout out to spring training. Beautiful. That was sick. It's gorgeous out there. So much prettier than I thought it was going to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before we lose the train of thought, I do want to talk about something as the Chicago Cubs are up 7-3 in the 5th inning on the Diamondbacks. Gallen apparently was not great today.
Oops.
I'm very curious to see what happens to teams after they play the Dodgers in a series, because I know there's been some time off, but I know it's a totally different sport. But last year when the Lions would play somebody, they would generally get their teeth knocked out the following week because it was such a tough series or a tough game for them.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious if the Dodgers, teams that play the Dodgers the following series are just going to go off because they're finally a lesser opponent. I'm very curious. 7 runs through 5 for the Cubs tonight after producing 7 total in Tokyo. I think
something like that.
Very curious to see what happens there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. The Dodgers will certainly take a lot out of people. But yeah, that's kind of the shape of the National League is it is top heavy. And then there's a lot of teams that are mediocre to just straight up bad.
Yeah.
While if you look at the American League, I can imagine the American League playoff picture going in any order with really with anyone other than, okay, you can rule out the White Sox. You can rule out the Angels. And that's
sorry.
But honestly, after that, I can picture a reality where any other team in the American League makes the playoffs, even the A's. The A's are not bad.
No, they're not. They're really not.
Have whatever city they belong to. They're not bad.
They're just the Athletics, dude. They're just even on the MLB standings. It is New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, blah 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 blah, Houston Astros, Seattle Mariners, Athletics, Texas Rangers, Los Angeles Angels. It's so sad.
That's bonkers.
It's so sad.
They, first of all, kind of insulting to Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's
our capital, damn it.
Yeah. The A's, which are such a piss poor franchise, they apparently John Fisher, who's just an awful human, still sees himself as too high and mighty to call himself the Sacramento A's. Thanks.
What a jerk.
Good job, John. Come on.
What a jerk.
It's only the capital of the state. You ass.
That's where Gavin Newsom lives.
Yeah. And then, but on the flip side of it,
he's right.
on the flip side of it, if you also you could just name yourself whatever then at that point, right? If you have no city, then you could have any city, or you could have any. Why don't they just call themselves the United States of America Athletics? They just call them
the Athletics Sans Frontiers.
they could give themselves any title at that point.
The A's without borders. That's the name.
Right.
There you go.
Because obviously we've had the Washington football team. We've had teams without team names, but I've never seen a team without a city or a state or any sort of providence that is attached to them whatsoever. The northern locality.
The NorCal A's.
NorCal. Yeah.
Just call yourselves the San Francisco A's. What are they going to do?
Yeah, honestly, why not? You know what?
Move your headquarters every week to a new part of San Francisco. The Tenderloin A's.
Who cares? Anyway, that team could make the playoffs. Like they're actually not bad.
No.
And outside of that, teams like the Mariners still have a fantastic starting rotation. They just need a hit. And anyone in the Central outside of the White Sox could win that division. I think literally any team in the American League East could win that. I can see a reality which any of them win that division. I think the Rays probably won't be as good this year, but they're the Rays. They always seem to find a way to figure out.
Speaking of teams without a home.
Yeah, which is just awful. Like that sucks.
That's the weirdest thing. It's just covering up George Steinbrenner Field with Rays banners is so fucking nuts, dude. Are they moving back to Montreal? They're gonna move to Montreal.
They should genuinely go to Nashville. Like I feel like Nashville.
I like that.
A great spot for a baseball team. And then you could still be in the AL East.
It'd be crowded, but I think Portland also would be cool for baseball. Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. There seems to be a pretty fervent baseball fan base in Oregon. It feels like the right sort of spot for it.
Which they're all, I mean, I don't know, because the people that I've met up there are either Dodgers fans or Mariners fans. So maybe we don't want to. We got a lot of bills to pay in the next few years. We don't want to shrink the fan base.
But yeah, so that's kind of looking, at what this season is going to look like. I think that the much more interesting sort of day-to-day standings to follow will be what goes on in the American League, because the National League is pretty set. And if any of the 5 teams that I've said that already have a playoff spot suddenly suck, then things will get interesting.
Yeah.
But it's hard to imagine any of them being that, because I get that the Diamondbacks didn't have as great of a season last year, but they still have a ton of talent. They've only gotten better. They added Corbin Burns to the rotation. That was already a pretty good rotation. And they get, assuming, the healthy pitchers back, like Gallen and Merrill Kelly. And the point is, the National League it's rough. It's that bottom half of the NL is it's larger than the top half in terms of the amount of teams that are down there, and it is not good.
And even like the teams you don't mention, like the Pirates, like there's still going to be a point where you're going against Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
And the other guy they have that also throws gas,
Jared Jones.
Yeah. Like there's no easy outs, I think, in the NL. It just isn't.
No. So to kind of look, there were a couple things that I noticed from this first game that we can actually make observations about and move forward. It's really just one, and it was the way that the bullpen was used today.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to talk about the Tom Hanks clone. That's where I thought you were going with it. I'll recalibrate.
Yeah.
I had thoughts.
So we saw Tanner Scott used in the 8th inning and Blake Trinan used in the 9th. Now, Dave Roberts did say before the game that he does view Tanner Scott not specifically as a 9th inning closer, as just using him in the 9th, but rather being a dynamic arm that they can use towards the back end of the game to get significant outs. And you and I have talked about this for a really long time, that the idea of the closer does need to die.
Yeah.
And I think that the Dodgers are now
actually. So when you hear that everywhere else, just remember.
Yeah, it was us.
These two assholes.
But the Dodgers now are in perfect position where they can actually do that. They have really 3 guys that.
Yeah, like is Kirby Yates even pitching it?
Yates,
is he hurt?
I believe he's fine. He's healthy.
Okay.
He just didn't pitch. They use Blake Trinan in the 9th tonight. You can use Tanner Scott, obviously, in the 9th inning. You can use Kirby Yates in the 9th inning. Hell, you can use Alex Vesia in the 9th inning. He's gotten that good. And this is a bullpen that currently has Luis Garcia and Jack Dreyer. His name is Jack.
Yeah, is it Dryer or Dreyer?
Dreyer.
It's Jack. I know it's Jack, but I don't know if it's
who really just snuck onto the roster, largely because they've had various injuries already. By the way, the Dodgers have like 10 pitchers on the IL already to start the season. It doesn't feel like that, but it's true. Now I will say Kyle Hurt is only on the 15-day IL, so our return is nigh.
Is he getting his name changed?
Kyle Healthy is coming back, and I'm very excited. But yeah, there's a ton of guys. Obviously, like Gratterall is hurt.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, he's still around. So right now they've had to like already dip into, even guys like Edgardo Enriquez isn't healthy right now. They've already had to dip into this depth and kind of fill some space in the bullpen with guys. But I liked what I saw from Garcia in spring training. And I don't think I ever paid attention. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I ever paid attention when Jack Dreyer was pitching because I thought he was just one of those,
just one of those guys comes in wearing like 64, with a name on the back.
Just a guy out there to burn some innings, and will be in Double-A this season. So good on you, Jack.
My favorite Dodgers writer, Bruce Kuntz, really likes that guy. Is it Kuntz or Kuntz? Yeah, I don't know. Shout out him.
We'll go with Kuntz, and if he wants to correct us, we'll allow him to to say it that way. But yeah, I think that we're already seeing that Dave is not going to attach himself to this idea of Tanner Scott as the closer. We're using him.
He's the greatest manager of all time.
Now, I did find it interesting. Of course, I think he went to Scott there because he had McKinstry and you had Kerry Carpenter coming out later.
Yeah.
So he is attacking based on handedness, which, yes, on one hand, no pun intended, you are supposed to do it like that. But there is also the flip side of looking at it where he did have Tanner Scott then pitch to the 7, 8, and 9 hole and then Blake Trinan to the top of the order. Now, Kerry Carpenter isn't a 9 hitter. He came in that spot. Zach McKinstry is an end of the order bat. But hey, he got a triple off of Tanner Scott, so I can't clown him too much. So yeah, I did think it was interesting that we saw right away that this is how they're going to use these guys in the pen. And that's honestly a good thing. If you're a fantasy baseball manager, that's probably annoying as hell because now you're not going to get saves from Tanner Scott, which reminds me also, we didn't even mention Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech isn't healthy.
Yeah.
When Kopech is healthy, you're adding him to the back end there. When Evan Phillips is healthy, you're adding him to the back end there. Like this is a Dodger bullpen that is currently depleted, which is crazy to think about. And yet, despite that, they still have a ton of talent that can easily get outs at the back end of the bullpen. So, yeah, that's the only thing. Like it's not even a weakness. And I wanted to say it's like their only weakness, but it's not.
It's not.
It's their weakness is they've got a couple guys at the far end of the bullpen that are, filling up spots there. But like, who cares? They're gonna win some of these games like 10-2. Like you can let Jack Dreyer throw 3 innings. That's great.
Yeah.
It was cool to see, Ben Kasparius in another outing. I think that's because he pitched in the first game in Japan as well.
Yeah. And I wasn't awake for those, so
that's fine. Neither was I. It's okay.
Yeah, nobody but Rob Parker was.
But seeing Kasparius be used in middle relief like this, I think is very exciting. I think the stuff is there. Yeah, he got hit tonight, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
So did Trinan.
Yeah.
So did Tanner Scott. Yeah.
It
was not that's the thing maybe is I think maybe we have to kind of ride out the bullpen figuring out where they are and who they are. Because nobody looked great today. Like Tanner Scott gave up a huge triple to McKinstry. Got out of it, only giving up a run on a sac fly, big deal. But Trinan did not have a clean ninth at all.
Right.
So, but you trust the talent. They're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, Trinan got kind of bailed out. Like the last
Yeah.
hitter, he was like behind 2-0, and then he just pops out to
pops out to
Freddie
Freeman.
in foul territory. I wonder though, and this would be an interesting question to ask somebody who's actually played, but I don't know the answer. I wonder if, because we talk about like spring training is for rookies, young guys, and for guys who are fighting their way onto a roster. For veterans who are proven, typically for everyday position players, they're still getting a ton of action in spring training, get back into the swing of it. Starting pitchers they're getting on a normal throwing program, and it's designed in a way where it ramps up their progress every week. I wonder what it's like for veteran relievers, because I feel like they're probably the ones where it's the most difficult for them to get into mid-season.
So much of it is like learning how to come in later in a game and get ready and all that stuff. Like it was jarring in spring training when we went to the Angels game and Kenley Jansen comes in to pitch the fourth or whatever it was, right? Like, like I think 90% of being a bullpen pitcher is your mentality on top of everything else. So I think it probably just takes some time to get there, and adding Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates to a bullpen that already had a guy like Blake Trinan is definitely going to cause a bit of I think just time to get used to that, and then the mentality change it requires you to have. So not worried. I think I swore previously, but like you will not find me complaining about a single thing about this team this year. I'm not going to do it. I can't. There's nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, Mookie started today. We could have come on here and been like, Mookie getting the rarest illness of all time where they don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
And like missing opening day is just another reason why you should have gotten an actual shortstop, but it didn't matter because he just played.
Yeah.
He looked skinny, but like that's life.
Right. That's the thing. His other than him looking tiny, like his swing seemed perfectly normal. Like he still looked like himself at the plate. That's what I was curious about, is like what his approach was going to look like at the plate, and his swing, like it has the same level of intensity to it. So like
he's just got to put a little bit of muscle back on, probably.
Yeah. Which professional athlete, he's has access to the greatest trainers in the world and endless amounts of equipment and
okay, I thought you were going to say something else.
And endless amounts. So yeah, I think
I should talk to Barry.
Right. No, I'm not actually too concerned about Mookie. I think the fact that he made it back to play opening day, I still thought they probably should have just started the season with him on the IL regardless. Like he looks like he's fine, but they could have. I felt like, because why not? Again, it's not.
Yeah, when he was in the lineup for that spring training game against the Angels, I was like, oh, they definitely just lied about him being sick. Like he had like a minor cough or something, and they just wanted to send him home. But Major League Baseball wanted to be like, you can't send one of the top 5 players in the game home from Tokyo without a real reason. So they're like, yeah, he's got Ebola. Like he's lost 15 pounds all from his ass. Like, but no, apparently not. Apparently he was actually sick, and now Kike's got it too.
Yeah, whatever it is.
So, I'm excited to find out, COVID 25 started in the Dodgers locker
room. Yeah, and it does not sound fun, whatever it is. I mean, I when I went on a cruise a month ago and came back for like 4 days, I had it rough. I had it rough, and it had nothing to do with, it wasn't like Lancet. Like it started on the boat, and it wasn't from eating anything in Mexico. I think it was from being on the boat. And more I looked at it, it was either straight up salmonella or it was norovirus, and I don't know which it was. But
neither sound pleasant.
No.
Well, cruises are famously healthy places, so almost no way it was that.
But hey, good for Mookie to at least feel well enough to be playing right now.
Good for him.
Yeah, so hopefully Kike is going to be all good. And
I mean,
As-
go
ahead.
last thing for me, really, that the only thing I can think of, Otani's home run was so effortless, and it's still, even after a year plus of seeing him do it, it's still like even clone Tom Hanks was like high fiving everybody around him, being like, "Was that really a home run?" Like, you're there in person, you can't believe it. It's wild. And that too, like, are Dodger games about to be the new Lakers? Is that about to be the place to be on the weekend?
I think so.
Like Tom Hanks, Rob Lowe, of course, was there. Magic was there. It doesn't really count. He owns the team, but used to always be like, "Oh yeah, dude, I was at Dodger Stadium and I saw the bad guy from RoboCop and the dad from that '70s show." Like, awesome. It was so cool. But now I feel like it's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I saw Michael Jackson. I don't know how. I literally don't know how, but he was there."
Yes. Every single person. Yeah. It's it's gonna become that. Which, hey, that's great.
Yeah,
Come
we
on
earned
in.
it, man.
World
Yeah.
champions.
Just tell them it costs more.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, Bryan Cranston, it actually costs Breaking Bad season 7. You have to make that.
Here up close, I did get the gold hat, the gold lettering with the patch. It is a wonderful collector's item. And in person, the gold is actually shinier, so like it does look pretty cool.
They'll probably get me for one eventually.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Hopefully, they wear them throughout the year. That's my thing.
Sick, but I have a feeling
I think it's for this weekend.
Yeah, that's I'm like, oh, yeah, at least give us the whole weekend, like for the whole series. Do it for the series. They probably, then won't have them at all. I saw like MLB on Fox or something put up a graphic of like, here's what Blake Snell's Dodger jerseys look like, with like the home white and the road gray, and then they had one that was the blue jersey. And
they need to wear those.
Yeah. I saw that, and I'm like, don't make me think that this means that they're gonna wear this jersey.
Those need to be like the Sunday. They need to wear those like on Sunday home games or something.
Yes. Now that they don't have the City Connect's not blue, then it gives you perfect reason to wear the blue. Wear
back the blue, folks. That's what we're saying.
That's what I want.
The Dodger blue.
This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone.
Yeah. Could be was. I mean, they might see this one and be like, you know what?
I'm good.
I need America to listen to this, because if this one does not do the numbers, I'm out of here. And guys, I have a kid. Please.
I forgot to also mention this. This was provided by the network. Look at that.
That's
Look at
right.
That. This is official mug. The Sick
I use mine every day.
Dodger Zone. Look at that. If you want one, tell me. I'll figure out how to get one. All right. He is Beau Benson. I'm Ryan Bershinger. Monty Bolaños, obviously, not with us tonight. She was at opening day, so we will get her thoughts.
Yeah, we'll get her
on what it was like to be there, and get the sights and sounds and the new stuff, the new look of the stadium,
the food
and everything. Next time though.
The video game cost for 2 Dodger dogs or 4 Dodger dogs.
Yeah, if you want a combo with
Dad,
2 Dodger dogs.
Can I get Assassin's Creed? No, we got a combo at Dodger Stadium. Sorry.
Sorry,
I had to put that on zip.
You wanted both the hot dog and the chicken tenders, and with the soda, the combo comes to $60.
I clarned the food at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
I'm paying interest on that combo meal, sir.
It is. It's too. What Uber Eats is doing that, or what's the?
Yeah. I think it's Uber Eats partnered with. Great sign, awesome sign for what's happening in the world.
Yeah, Loki. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Hell yeah! I'll get Chipotle.
I can split my Chipotle burrito into 5 easy payments of $8.61. That's so much better.
Yeah, I only have to pay $2.30 for it tonight. Hell yeah. Okay.
It's literally, I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's literally what it is. We have all become that guy from Popeye.
So until next time, this is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. We're going to be with you all throughout the season.
That's right.
And we'll come to you every week. So follow us. Please follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us in our audio-only platforms. If you like to watch us, we're here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow, all the good stuff. So for Beau, my name is Ryan Bershinger. Thank you very much. Let's see. Maybe the Dodgers will still be undefeated next time. 162-0.
That's right.
It's possible. It's possible. Domo arigato, everyone. Thank you very much.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, The Dodger Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.